Yo, ladies and gentlemen, you may be wondering why is Strom standing in the end with some snowballs, unless you saw the thumbnail for the video, which I think you kind of have to. We're going to get free snowballs from a wither, so let's get to it. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, what we have here is we have a 24.2k per hour Snowball Farm, and what we're doing is we're using the wither to actually break those snow layers for us and then give us our snow. So we can see he breaks the snow, it's just getting generated immediately in the same tick that is broken, and our snowballs are coming down here and going into collection. Before I get started explaining what's going on here, there will be a world download down in the video description where you can download this for yourself and look at it, grab schematic, grab, coordinates, whatever you want to do. First thing you're going to want to do, though, is go into the end and you're going to want to find yourself a gateway that has another gateway close by. And I mean, it's not really necessary, but it'll be nice to have a path back from your farm. That's because we're going to use the end gateway as our wither cage, so that we can keep him locked up and he doesn't cause any damage or havoc and we don't have to worry about him launching blue skulls. What's happening is this clock is greater than 20 game ticks and it is shooting a snowball out of this dispenser, and it's kind of shooting out a little fast. You can't actually see it coming through, but here we can see it coming through this dropper right here. And then when he gets hit, he thinks he's getting damaged, so he breaks the blocks in that 3x3x3 around him, and that includes these snow layers here. Luckily, though, he doesn't actually do any damage to entities in that area. He just breaks blocks. So all these snowmen that are packed in here, they're just going to be fine. And we put a few extra snowmen in here just so we can make sure we got one of each. So we've got 8 slots here that we need snowmen on. But snowmen are pretty cheap, so we just threw in a couple extra snowmen just to make sure if anything funny happens, or if you as the player accidentally come along and knock them, or just to make sure that they don't wander off and then leave one of these uncovered so it doesn't generate snow. So they're all pushing each other under the blocks. And what we have is we have this piece of obsidian with a trapdoor on it right here that we've spawned a golem on. We're keeping that golem in place with these chains. And that means that that wither is just stuck on that golem. So if I turn on my hitboxes, we can see that his detection, that blue line there, can just barely reach over that bedrock. But his skulls, from both his side heads and his front head, they can't actually get past the bedrock. So they just explode. These ones inside the bedrock and that one on top of the bedrock. And since he is able to successfully shoot those skulls, he thinks he's successfully shooting them, that means he also doesn't call in his blue wither skull throw. So as long as this golem is here, this is just a completely safe wither cage. And I'm going to show you how we're going to construct this. First thing we want to do is we want to put down some dirt. So I'm going to put it right down here. So I'm going to come out 1 and go down then another 2. I'm going to put down my red mushroom and then I'm going to grow that. This may take a couple of tries because sometimes it'll go a little bit higher than that, but what's going to happen is the side of this is going to grow in and we break out those mushroom blocks. We can see that gateway is now gone. We need to make sure we clear out that gateway, because if we summon the wither into this contraption with that gateway still there, the wither is just going to get teleported to the other side of the gateway. Now, I'm going to show how this wither is going to summon and get caught in here before we build anything around it. So I'm going to just put down 2 walls and break that top one. So we've got 1 wall block right below there on that gateway. And I'll turn on hitboxes. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we put his tail right there on top of the wall and then bring him out and actually summon him. We can see his hitbox is going to stay inside these blocks. These 4 pieces of bedrock right here are keeping him from flying out. And then the extra height on that wall is keeping him from being able to fly down. And we can see now he's completely stuck in there. Even if I launch snowballs at him, he's not going to budge. But you will see that he did throw out some blue skulls there. There we go. We had 1 escape right there. So that's some of the criteria we need. We need to make sure we don't aggro him too often so that he throws out blue skulls. And then we also want to give a mob to focus on so that he's continuously launching those black skulls so he thinks he doesn't need to launch a blue skull. So I'm going to go ahead and take out all the mobs here so we can see how this is actually going to get built. First thing you're going to want to do is get your minecarts in place. You want to make sure you don't bump these because these will be really sensitive touching each other. Take a piston facing down, 2 blocks above where your minecart's going to be. Put your slab up there. I like using the endstone slabs because it has a better blast resistance. And then take your button and just power the piston, and that'll push that right into the minecart. That way we know that as soon as the snowball pops off, it's going to get sucked up by the minecart to put down in the hopper. If we did a solid block here and just like a hopper minecart underneath, there's a chance the snowball can actually bounce off to the side and flow away in the water. We don't want that. We want to make sure we're collecting it. Once you've got those in place, you also want to make sure that you cover the area with water. That's so that we don't have any Endermen spawning in this area and distracting our Wither. And then we also don't have anything teleporting over here. So I didn't cover the other islands, so we can still have Endermen spawn over there, but they can't teleport over here because they can't teleport into the water. Then you can finish your construction around here. This obsidian is going to keep those snow golems in place, keep them from knocking each other off of here. They aren't going to want to pathfind to water, but they can knock each other off. And then the way that we're going to get those snow golems in is we're just going to drop them in after we summon the Wither, because obviously, you know, we could come in here and finagle them, but it's just going to be easier if we drop them in. But before we do that, we want to make sure that we summon our iron golem, and he's going to sit right down there in that slot. Next thing we want to do is summon our Wither. I've switched over to survival mode here, so we can see that this does work in survival mode. We just need to make sure that as that Wither is summoning, that he first gets the aggro of that iron golem. So we're going to stay hidden from his sight down here. And I'm doing this without any armor, you can see. So this is nice and safe. I'm going to stay right under here, summon our Wither. And I'm just going to like come in this corner right here. This will work just fine. So there, I took a little bit of damage, big deal. But now he's already got aggro on that golem. And he's not going to want to switch aggro. So I can come in here where he can see me. I can bounce around. Hi. Hi, Wither. Hi. This is why I shouldn't record videos late at night. And then we're ready to start summoning in our golems. So you can either fly up here or build a, you know, like a scaffolding platform up here. We're just going to get on top of here so that once again, we're nice and safe. And we can just start building our golems and dropping them in. We do just have this extra little bit of obsidian here because there is a chance that a golem will take some damage from one of those bullets since it is exploding right by his face. But then this is going to make sure that they still fall in there and they don't wander off to the side. If you find that you're having trouble with the golems getting all the way to where they need to be, so I'll hop down here. We can see that one just went over there, but they're actually kind of still bunched up in the corner. Just come over to the corner you're dropping them in and toss a snowball. That'll kind of force them to push the others and move around a bit. Now we can see we have all of our end stone slabs being covered with snow. And what we're going to do is this dropper is going to be shooting them out. We need to make sure that we start out with some snowballs in here to actually start the system. So I'm just going to drop 16 in there. And because the snow golem is actually inside of this block where the snowball is going to come out, it's going to bypass any snow golems in there. They can't get any further back because there's this bedrock right here. And it's going to hit the tail. It's kind of hard to see. It's going to hit the tail of that Wither right there. Now we're done. We're ready to roll. I'm just going to come back here, flick on this lever to turn on the clock. Now we can see he's getting hit every time with that snowball. He's turning red, but he's not actually taking any damage, but he thinks he is. And if you listen close, you can actually hear the sound of him breaking those blocks. And then you can just AFK down in the storage room. So we just have a little trapdoor here with our ladder to take us down. You can just AFK down here. Once again, we see all those droppers is going to get shot off, and it's going to drop its snowballs into this water stream. Carry them over here. We could have done this with some ice, but I opted, based on the cheapskate video, just to drop it down a little bit so we didn't have to include any ice in this. We did the soul fire over there because you already got to get soul sand for the Wither. But yeah, this is a nice little snowball farm. It's going to get you, 24.2 thousand per hour. Excuse me, 25.2 thousand per hour. I've got the hopper counter right up there for the lime. In the world download, it would be going into chests. I'll have the counter pulled out of there. You can add that back in if you want. We can see it's going to hover right there at that 25,200 mark. Then we got all our snowballs. You can do whatever you want with them. You can use them for, if you're doing Nembomb's version of the ice farm that doesn't have the mending module on it, the original version, you use snowballs for that. You could replace this storage with your favorite shulker loader. You could make this into snow blocks if you got to do a bunch of snow deco. I decided to do a video on this because I have another video coming up soon where I actually needed some snowball generation in the end. There are other snowball farms out there. A couple of Skycrafters have done it. Like the one that Methods made for Doc M using the dolphins. You're going to get a lot more items per hour from that. Or also Mango did one in the Peaceful series that uses flying machines to generate that snow and then TNT to grab it. This is nice because it doesn't use any TNT duping, so we're just using that Wither. This is all vanilla mechanics, and the build effort is really low. But by all means, if you really want to push those numbers, check out those other designs. But this is going to be used in an upcoming build, so I figured I might as well do a video on it. So check down in the description for that world download, and you can check this out for yourself. I'll catch you later. Have a good one. Bye.